and we're going to find out how they do it. That's when we come back. But in the meantime, over to you now, Suzanne.
Thanks, Kasha. Environmentally speaking, of course, Earth Hour coming up this Saturday night at 8:30. Want to start things off, and a hello to you, with a look at the satellite across the country, colored in cloud tops. You can see storms east and west coast. Satellites are fantastic for showing us weather. There's our system to the north, and satellites, leading edge technology with that UK-based company playing a really vital role. In the top news story, of course, the Malaysian Airlines disaster and mystery. So satellite technology, really interesting stuff. The southwest winds will continue. The satellite will show more cloud cover coming into southern Ontario. Tonight, a passing flurry or two, weak disturbance. Tomorrow, a weak cold front comes through. Couple centimeters of snow on the ground possible around Collingwood, Orillia, areas that got 20 plus centimeters of snow this past weekend. The boon for skiers and snowboarders, and the real bane of, oh, will this winter ever end for those who have had enough. This is only a couple of centimeters coming. Temperatures will be warmer than today. We were down well into the minus double digits again today, not just here in southern Ontario, but in many parts of Canada. Very cold air. Tuesday, we warm up a little. We'll see some afternoon sunshine, sunny breaks at times during the day, and then we drop again on Wednesday. And yeah, those are cold wind chills in blue. Arctic high pressure, plenty of it, an abundance really from coast to coast. If you are traveling in the coming days, you may be directly or indirectly impacted by this powerful nor'easter storm. The more the isobars, the stronger the low, and it is particularly powerful low that's going to spread blizzard conditions across the Maritimes on Wednesday. It is a bruiser of a storm system. It's going to miss us all together, but it'll stay off to the east, allowing this next system to run into us Thursday into Friday. Late Thursday, some snow changing to rain. Yes, that's a seasonal 6 for Friday.
But in the meantime, to you inside with your weather story.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear more about that, Kasha. As I know a lot of you are, we all try to do our best to reduce the amount of packaging, to maybe buy in bulk when we can. Bulky sweaters, bulky coats. What a start this morning. We were minus 12 in Toronto. And there's the evening. So bookends of very cold weather. Not the news you want to hear, I know, but it is the actual weather forecast. And I wouldn't lead you astray, not knowingly. 40% chance of a few flurries tonight. Dry tomorrow. Late tomorrow could get a dusting of snow again with a weak system coming our way, and no real warmth coming our way in the next 3 days. We'll go down on Wednesday, up on Thursday, and then up to seasonal temperatures on Friday. Now, Chrissy, this is going to be great news, and welcome back after swapping off with Rachel. We'll have some tough commutes weather-wise in the days to come, but how about today?
Well, today, Suzanne, everyone's starting off their Monday with a really good commute. We really
well up the side of the car wheels. I know a few people, friends and co-workers, that were enjoying ski conditions around Georgian Peaks and Collingwood around Blue this past weekend, but a whole lot of winter and a lot more than a lot of us are really prepared for right now. Bit of a cruel joke, if you will. See if we can find a warm up in the long range forecast. No April Fool's joke intended. Minus 11.5 this morning for Toronto, minus 18 for Winnipeg, cold in Calgary too. Winnipeg and Toronto 10 degrees below normal, and Winnipeg, you know, that's chilly stuff. They've had their second coldest winter on record. I want to show you the long range trend because we've had a lot of people focusing on April the 1st. It is around the corner. Is this an April Fool's joke, the warm up? At one point we were looking at maybe 10 or 11 degrees going into next week. Like you, I've been watching the long range trend carefully, and I'm seeing a lot of fluctuations here, which is pretty normal this time of year. However, we're struggling to get to what is the normal +7 at this time of year. And the actual temperatures in yellow, you can see an upward trend, and there is the indication through, I would say, early middle of next week that we are going to be much closer to seasonal. As we look at what we're up against, I want to take a broader perspective now. If we look at Wednesday across the country, wintry, chilly, and a powerful nor'easter storm. And this is going to basically shut down travel in Atlantic Canada. Coming out of that energy in the west, we've got a system taking shape for us on Thursday. So we'll start with some snow in the evening, but then actually change over to rain for Friday, and milder air is on the way. Temperatures should be around 7 this time of year. We're looking at about 6 degrees overall. So not balmy double digits, but again, we are going in the right direction. I think we'd all agree on that. Relentless, endless, a long winter, We put our very cold winter into context. On our main page right now, you'll see, sorry about that, you'll see a lot of local forecast information, some of our latest videos, and of course plenty of discussion of what's coming up with storm watch for our Atlantic coast.
Story.
Never look up close at a compost bin, right? But it is good stuff, because as a gardener, you just keep turning that over, nice balance of brown and green stuff, and it is fantastic for the garden. All right, gardens, they're emerging, aren't they? Let me see, my front yard, which faces east, is still covered in snow, and with -4 in Toronto, it will still be, and I know there's plenty of snow on the ground. Newmarket, you had 10 or more centimeters this past weekend. Up by Barrie, Orillia, and Collingwood, it was 20 plus. What a way to celebrate the first weekend of spring. Cold temperatures, a trace of snow. There's a weak disturbance coming through tonight, down through the lower Great Lakes, and then tomorrow we've got a cold front coming in. It's not going to be too bad tomorrow. We are a little breezy today out of the west. Cold front for Tuesday. The wind switched to the northwest, and that's why we're going to be cold on Wednesday. And when I say chilly conditions, I mean we should be 6 or 7. We'll be closer to -6 or 7. Thursday we go up with the chance of flurries late in the day, and then Friday we go up to a more normal temperature with rain. Next week is April the 1st. And we are warming. That's the trend. I know this has been up and down, Chrissy, like a lot of people. I've been checking it faithfully. No double digits for now. Now, your traffic.
Thanks so much, Suzanne. Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed. Perhaps the 14-day trend will be.
Oh, the wind, Kasia, the wind and the cold start today. She'll go back to her compost. We're counting down to Earth Hour, which is this coming Saturday night, 8:30 to 9:30. Let's go into the dark. Let's be in the dark. Think about what you can do to mark that event with your family. -5, -6, -9 in Orangeville right now. The wind chill's in blue. Kasia, those westerly winds, they're making it feel a good 5 degrees colder than it is. We're going to talk about traffic in just a second. Show you the winds coming down to the southwest. Cold front comes through. They switch to the northwest. So I'm afraid, as cold as it was this morning, it's going to be colder still come Wednesday. Yeah, tomorrow's actually going to be a little bit milder because those winds switch around. We've got a dusting of snow possible tonight and then another tomorrow. It's not going to amount to much, but a couple centimeters of snow possible to our north, 2 to 4 centimeters, not 24 centimeters like Orillia and the Collingwood area did get this past weekend. Yeah, the first weekend of spring. Did you hear about that? We had about 20 centimeters of snow for ski country. So that's good news for skiers wanting to extend the season. Tuesday, 0, +1 Hamilton, -1 Brantford, exactly a week away from the start of April. That is no joke. And there's our colder air for Wednesday. And we're in high pressure, at least. We're calm. The conditions to our east are going to be quite dangerous. We've got a nor'easter storm that's on the way in. And the latest forecast models suggesting a widespread 40 centimeters, not 30 centimeters of snow, and a lot of wind as well. It's quite a dangerous storm system, if you will, in some ways the equivalent of a hurricane or a tropical storm in terms of its potential power, but not rain. It's unleashing snow. We will have snow Thursday night, and then this blob, this big area of precipitation, it's rain for us. 6 degrees. Find out on your local forecast ahead how much rain is likely to accumulate and look at the sunshine for the weekend. I'm liking that. I'd like the double digits more. I'm sure you would too. Yeah, we always need more organic material typically than all of us have in our gardens, especially if you've got clay soil or too much sand. Something to think about. Hey, the gardening season's around the corner. Taking a look at temperatures this evening, -5s and 6s and 7s, and we're starting to see, despite the cold today, more and more grass showing in our gardens. And we're starting to hear from our local nurseries. I got my first newsletter today from Pathways to Perennials. That's just north of the city of Toronto, up in Pottageville. Pottageville or Schaumburg, Toronto or Mississauga, wherever you are tonight, it's going to be cold. It's going to be close to -10. There are going to be a few flurries in the air. No serious accumulations. Don't even think we'll see a dusting on the ground close to the core. But a trace to 2 centimeters by the end of Tuesday because a cold front's going to move in and bring us colder temperatures for Wednesday. Look at Toronto and Oshawa and Barrie, -9 for a high. We'll warm up, Chrissy. That's coming up in the long range. You mentioned the nor'easter a little while ago. It's going to be a massive storm, very dangerous, not for Ontario, but for Atlantic Canada. So more on that ahead.
Side Suzanne.
Thanks very much, Kasia. Yeah, we're 10 degrees below normal today, and there's more snow coming. As we look at the satellite, the cloud tops and the colors have been enhanced, so you can see a storm on the west coast and a system departing Newfoundland, and you can see there it is, that cold front that's coming down into the lower Great Lakes. You know, satellites are fascinating, they're complex, they are vital aids for weather. And some leading edge satellite technology, of course, has played a big role in the biggest news story on the planet right now, the Malaysian Airlines story. You've been following that, I'm sure. Now, following the weather, westerly winds, a little chilly today, a little breezy through the afternoon. I've seen the winds pick up to 30, 40 kilometers an hour. A couple of flurries possible overnight, and then cold front comes towards the GTA for tomorrow afternoon, evening. And that'll be more cloud cover. Couple centimeters up by Aurelia, an area that got over 20 centimeters along with Collingwood this past weekend. Unwelcome, I'd say, at this point, although I know a number of skiers who either enjoyed last weekend or who are wanting yet another ski weekend. So we are winding down, but in pretty dramatic fashion. We're about 10 degrees below normal today, as I mentioned. Tomorrow we're 0 or just below in most of the Golden Horseshoe, and then we'll be colder on Wednesday behind the cold front, warmer on Thursday. By the way, midweek, very dramatic storm. It is going to be perhaps the worst storm of the year. Certainly all forecast models, very strong indication that this is going to be a big wallop of snow and wind, a widespread blizzard for the Maritimes Wednesday and on into Newfoundland starting late day. We miss it all together. We will get a low coming out of the U.S. with snow to start late Thursday and then rain to finish on Friday. But look at that, 6 degrees. I think we'll take it. Sunshine, temperatures not especially warm for the weekend, but a little drier. No big storms and a struggle as we get back up to more seasonal temperatures.
All right, more tips to come with Sean Williamson, but to you and your weather story, Suzanne.
Yeah, it's a really good point. A lot of good points there and stuff for us all to think about, you know, and that really is the key, isn't it? Just stop and think and have a word with your grocery manager. Don't be afraid to say, you know what, love to buy this, but I hate all the plastic packaging around it. Can you think about doing something about that? Can you put some pressure on your distributors? We get the word out and every bit counts, right? And every bit of warmth is something we would take right now. We are nowhere near where we should be. We should be -2. We were 10 degrees below normal this morning. So instead of -12, -7. I'm looking for warmer, more hopeful signs for you, for all of us. A trace of snow is on the way. A couple of flurries tonight, Chrissy, that'll be after the commute, and then maybe a little bit more tomorrow. But the temperatures are certainly struggling this week. Just imagine having to dig your car out there, although I know at least one person in our newsroom, Matt, our briefing meteorologist, who was happy with the ski conditions. And if you're a skier, no doubt you would echo that. However, snowy weekend for some and cold start today. Is it an April Fool's joke a little bit early? And what's going on with our temperatures? See if we can break it down for you. -12 this morning, Monday, -18 for Winnipeg. We're not alone. There's Calgary. Winnipeg and Toronto, 10 degrees below normal as of this morning because of the overabundance of cold Arctic air suppressing the jet stream. It's to the south, and we've got a cool long-range trend for now. Like a lot of you, I've been watching on our website and also every 10 minutes on the 10s on TV. I've been watching and checking methodically. Have we got a warm-up coming? And we're certainly below average this week. This red line is where we should be at this time of year. As we trend upwards, and I know some of you have been saying, I saw double digits in the long range. Is it a nasty April Fool's joke? All indications are that as we go into next week, we are trending upwards for temperatures. We should be +7 in the day. We should be -2 at night. We may not be there every day, but we are trending, inching upwards. If you look at the whole country, as a whole, for, say, Wednesday, you see a lot of wintry adjectives, and really there is a very powerful storm on its way to the east coast. As we take a look at Thursday, some of that energy from the west is taking shape in a low that's coming our way. And for southern Ontario, the GTA, fairly quiet, cloudy during the day, evening, snow, but then it will change over to rain because we've got a southerly wind. No, it's not a joke. We do have rain on the way for Friday and milder conditions. So while Arctic air, as you can see here in blue, is continuing in many parts of the country, we are aiming to get up to about +6 on Friday. Still not really looking or sounding much like spring, is it? And in case you missed it, the calendar says spring, but for many Canadians, it still looks like winter. Have a look at our website. Here's the link on Twitter as well. I had a chat with Dana Batiste, one of our senior meteorologists here just recently, about the conditions. On our website, storm watch, plan for near complete travel shutdown. It could be far worse. That's what Atlantic Canada is getting coming up this week.
Back to you inside, though, Suzanne.
You heard that right. Not 2.5 weeks, but 2.5 years. Quite an exceptional story. Inspiring, too, as we count down to Earth Hour this Saturday night. Conservation messages here. Any day's good for that. We've had some sunshine today. It's been cool, certainly -3. We should be 10 degrees warmer by this time of year. And I know a lot of people are just kind of fed up with the snow. A few have been enjoying the fresh snow this past weekend. Late extension or an extended ski season. Oh, good news there. Still plenty of snow on the trails, although it's starting to get a little mushy for snowmobilers. 2 to 4 centimeters to the north, trace to 2 for the GTA. The winds coming out of the southwest. We'll see a chance of flurries tonight, another brief chance tomorrow, late day. Taking us cooler for temperatures come Wednesday. Thursday we go up. By late day, we'll have more precipitation, and it will likely start in the evening as snow after a 4-degree afternoon high. How about 6 degrees by Friday? And that's some good news as we set up for a drier, milder weekend than we had last weekend. So that kind of covers off some of the big stories for the GTA. Chrissy, out of the GTA, the nor'easter for the East Coast, and then the story on the commute in town. Thanks, Kasia. Great environmental story there. Much better than the weather I've got to tell you about, that's for certain. A cold start, 10 below normal this morning. It was -12. The current wind chill, it feels close to -12 in the city of Toronto, and it certainly feels that cold in Barrie right now. North of Barrie, Orillia had over 20 centimeters of snow this past weekend. Good news for ski hills, extending this season at least. Sunshine in Ottawa, clear skies this evening for many. We've had a decent day in the Golden Horseshoe. It has been cold. Chance of a flurry with a weak disturbance coming through. Nothing to accumulate, and then a cold front tomorrow. Something to accumulate, but how much snow? Not 20 plus this time round, just a couple. A trace, maybe a few centimeters around higher terrain through the Golden Horseshoe, through the escarpment, and a couple plus, up to about 4 or so, up towards Georgian Bay. The trend this week is an interesting one. We are on a real roller coaster ride of temperatures, and you've heard us say that quite a bit, but here's a good example. Tomorrow will be a little above zero. This morning we were down at -12. Then we'll be colder again for Wednesday. Those are highs projected to be around -7. Yeah, that's not good, is it? That's 10 below normal. Yet, actually, that's more than 10 below normal. We should be about +7 by this time of year. Chrissy was mentioning a moment ago who and how much for this nor'easter storm. It's a powerful storm. It looks like it's on track to be one of the worst of the season for the Atlantic provinces. Widespread disruption and closures are likely. And thirdly, strong winds, gusting maybe hurricane strength, and 40 centimeters of snow for a number of areas. It misses us altogether. We've got high pressure on Wednesday, but messy weather Thursday night into Friday. And that low is going to track far enough north that we'll end up with rain. 6 degrees, yes, rain. Dusting of snow late Thursday. Notice 40% chance, so nothing significant. If you're just joining us, we've got Force of Nature coming up in a second, along with your local forecast that'll break down the long-range trend for temperatures. Some more hopeful signs going into next week. Good news.
Show. What about your weather story to you inside, Suzanne?
Kasia, so much of this is just great common sense tips, isn't it? Although that one's taking it an extra step. More pad thai, less packaging. Yeah, when I have got takeout, I'm like you, sometimes horrified at the amount of containers you end up with. So some really smart tips there. As far as the weather's concerned, -10, -12, Newmarket, Barrie. If you're down in the core, Toronto, Mississauga, Hamilton, -7, -8. Cold start today. Cold this evening, warmer tomorrow, but a trace of snow at either end of the day, and then temperatures drop for Wednesday, but go up for Thursday. We'll have some snow changing to rain, not the nor'easter storm that's going to batter the East Coast, Chrissy, but we've got some real swings this week. Now, your commute, I know you've been saying it's been picking up after an early start. Thanks, Dana. I always love listening to what she has to say. She's one of our lead meteorologists here behind the scenes, and she's got the same message that we do, which is hang in there, be patient. It has been a long, cold, and snowy winter, and it's not quite over yet. 23 centimeters for Aurelia. That was Friday night into Saturday. If you woke up to that dusting in Toronto, that was nothing. And then this morning, we woke up to minus 12 in Toronto, minus 18 in Winnipeg. What we have in common, apart from the cold and we're done, is the fact that that was 10 degrees below normal. Yeah, everyone's in on the cold, east of the Rockies. There's a little bit of snow coming for tomorrow. Still not really all that spring-like, but again, not unusual for this time of year. I'll take 0. I'll take +1. This is a little bit more comfortable for afternoon highs. We cool down again on Wednesday because we've got a weak cold front coming through. So it's up and down, very volatile weather, the pattern this week. Wednesday, an extremely dangerous storm is on the way to Atlantic Canada. It's fast moving. It's deepening rapidly. There will be a quick onset of blizzard conditions for many Canadians in the Maritimes. So that's one of our top stories. Find out more at our website. Thursday evening, snow changing to rain, which means we're going to be milder. We're up to seasonal on Friday. And Saturday, Sunday, you know what? I want to take you through the 14-day trend. So come back for 20 minutes from now, and we'll talk long range. Still a lot of comfort foods being ingested these days, Kasha, with the prolonged cold, prolonged snow, and prolonged snow cover, because we've had a lot of both this season, and there's a little bit more on the way. Not the 24 centimeters or so we had this past weekend up in Cottage Country. Yeah, that's what Aurelia got. And Collingwood. It was great news for skiers, hoping for another March weekend. Now, our last weekend of March is coming up, and I got to tell you, it's a pretty volatile week for weather. There is a massive storm on the way to the Atlantic coast, and if you want to find out more about this developing nor'easter and powerful weather bomb, it's all on our website. Please have a look. It is a pretty interesting storm, and perhaps one for the record books. Certainly one of the most powerful for this week. Not this cold front, but the one that's approaching the Maritimes on Tuesday evening. What this is showing is our breeze coming down out of the northwest for Wednesday. Winds will die down Wednesday. They'll pick up on Tuesday late day. Little dusting of snow, and then we are cold. We are below average by, again, 10 degrees on Wednesday. So closer to 0 tomorrow, warmer than today, colder on Wednesday. And Wednesday, there it is. Rapidly deepening, spreading blizzard conditions across the Maritimes and then on to Newfoundland. Very powerful winds. We're going to see a low move in, and it's courtesy of some energy from the U.S. South, as well as a clipper system coming out of the prairies. This low, well, let's watch it. It takes a northerly track. That's good news, because that means that we will be warming up. Friday will be on the wet side. Thursday should be mainly quiet with increasing cloud. Just a low chance of a flurry, mainly late in the day, and then rainfall for Friday. And Saturday, sunshine. I want to take us to 7 degrees. I really do.